This is mathheals.com, where you can find more links to math and computer science YouTube videos. Yeah, get a clean slate here. And let's take a look at multiplying and dividing rational expressions. And there it goes. We got 3x minus 1 over x squared minus 6x minus 40. Now first off, this is a rational expression. I wanted to show you an example of one. Rational means single fraction. And specifically, here we're going to have x's. So again, single fraction with x's. Or whatever variable you're talking about. First problem says state the domain of each rational expression. So the domain of a rational expression. We've talked about this before when we dealt with just fractions in general. But here we're going to have more than just x to the first power down in the denominator. But our first step is to set the denominator equal to 0. That's bad. I've forgotten how to spell denominator. Too much fun on spring break, I think. Equal to 0 and solve. ER or OR? I think it's ER. Oh well. So on this one, I'll set the denominator equal to 0. So I get x squared minus 6x minus 40 equal to 0. Now to solve this, we're going to have to use the zero factor property. We got x squared, x, no x, and there's no number in front of our x squared. This is going to be the PSD method. We'll take our number at the end, which is the 40, and we're going to create 3 columns. We'll write down all products give us 40. We got 1 times 40, 2 times 20, 4 times 10, and 5 times 8. In the S column, we'll add those together. 1 plus 40 is 41, 2 plus 20 is 22, 4 plus 10 is 14, 5 plus 8 is 13. Difference column, we'll subtract them. 40 minus 1 is 39, 20 minus 2 is 18, 10 minus 4 is 6, 8 minus 5 is 3. Number we're looking for is a number in our middle term, which is 6, which is right here, which means we use 4 and 10. So we got 4 and 10. Our larger number that we're going to use, which is the 10, is going to be the same size as the middle term always. Middle term is negative, so this will be negative. Now the number I circled in the difference column, D for different signs, so if this one's negative, then this one has to be positive. Now, zero factor property says you get 0 on one side, you factor the other side, you set each factor equal to 0. So I'll set x plus 4 is equal to 0, and I'll set x minus 10 equal to 0. Take the 4 over, it becomes a negative 4. Take the negative 10 over, it becomes a positive 10. Now, these are the values that cause us problems. For example, if I put 10 back up here, 10 squared is 100. 6 times 10 is 60. 100 minus 60 is 40. 40 minus 40 is 0. So these are the ones that cause us to have a 0 in the denominator. So our second step is to put a slash through the equals. So x cannot equal to negative 4, and x cannot equal to 10. Now if you prefer to write that in the interval notation, it would look like this. We go from negative infinity to our smallest number, union, our smallest number to our next number, which is 10, union, 10 to our infinity. Personally, I like this form because it's a little easier to read and tells you exactly what not to use, which is a lot of times in life how you like things to be. You want them to be written simple, so there's no misunderstanding and so forth. Okay, let's look at our next one here. We got x squared plus 3x minus 5 over 5x squared minus 12x plus 7. Same instructions, find a domain. Well, our first step, set your denominator equal to 0 and solve it. Well, this one's a key number. We have an x squared, x, no x, and there's a number in front of our x squared. Well, with a key number, we take the number at the beginning times the number at the end. So we'll take 5 times 7. We would ignore signs. If one of them was negative, we would still just go with positives. And we're going to write down our columns. Give us 35. P column, this is our products. So we got 1 times 35, 2, no, 3, no, 5 times 7. The S column, we'll add these together. 1 plus 35 is 36. 5 plus 7 is 12. Difference column will subtract them, smaller from larger. 35 minus 1 is 34. 7 minus 5 is 2. Key number, we're looking for the number in the middle term, which is 12, which is right here. So we're going to use 5 and 7. And we're going to rewrite our middle term using those two numbers. Our larger number that we're going to use, which is the 7, is always going to be the same sign as the middle term, which is negative. The number I circled in the S column, S for same sign, so if the 7 is negative, then the 5 has to be negative. Then we'll factor by grouping. First group has an x in common, and that gives us 5x minus 7. Second group doesn't have anything in common, but you always want to factor something out, so I'll factor out a negative 1, and that gives us 5x minus 7. Now they both have a 5x minus 7, so I'll factor that out in front. And that leaves us x minus 1 equal to 0. Zero factor property says you get 0 on one side, you factor the other side, you set each factor equal to 0. So I'll set 5x minus 7 equal to 0, and I'll set x minus 1 equal to 0. Now this one will take the negative 7 to the right side, becomes a positive 7. Then we'll divide both sides by 5. And we get x is equal to 7/5. Now in this one I'll take the negative 1 over. It becomes a positive 1. Now again, these are the values we cannot have. So our second step is put a slash through the equals. So we got x cannot equal to 7/5 and x cannot equal to 1. And again, those are the answers I like, how to write it. If you prefer interval notation, it'd go from negative infinity to 1. Union, 1 to 7/5. Union, 7/5 to positive infinity. Did you read that? Try it again. Positive infinity. Let me start a new page. Time for my tablet to blow up. There we go. Let's look at our next example. Got x minus 3 over x squared plus 9. Same instructions, wanting to find a domain. Let me grab a drink here. Well, first step, set your denominator equal to 0 and solve it. So I got x squared plus 9 equal to 0. Now, zero factor property says you get 0 on one side, you factor the other side. As I start going through my different methods, though, GCF, they don't have anything in common. Groupings, 4 more terms, that doesn't fit. PSD and key number are both 3 terms, that doesn't fit. Difference 2 squares, difference 2 cubes are both 2 terms of minus tringent. So I come to the last one, the sum of 2 cubes. 2 terms of the plus tringent, which fits, but nothing times itself 3 times will give you the 9, nothing times itself 3 times will give you the x squared, so it fails on that. If you cannot factor this, means it's prime, you can't factor it. If you come up with something that's prime, that means there's no numbers to exclude. So, your answer for your domain is just negative infinity to positive infinity. Or you could write all real numbers. Okay, let's take a look at simplifying a rational expression. We've got a squared minus 10a plus 16 over a minus 2. And this is actually, let's try it again. Simplifying a rational expression. Now, pretty much, unless I tell you otherwise, you should always try to simplify your rational expressions. It's kind of like when you're across a fraction. If you can simplify a fraction, you should go ahead and do that. Well, remember, a rational expression just means a single fraction. Our first step: factor the top and factor the bottom. So top of a fraction numerator and the bottom of a fraction denominator. Well, the top here is the PSD method. The bottom is nothing. It can't be factored. But this is a PSD because it's a squared, a, no a, and there's no number in front of your a squared. Well, with PSD, we take our number at the end, 16, and we come up with our 3 columns. P column, we list all the products, give us 16. We got 1 times 16, 2 times 8, 4 times 4. The S column, we add them together. 1 plus 16 is 17, 2 plus 8 is 10, 4 plus 4 is 8. Difference column, we subtract them. 16 minus 1 is 15, 8 minus 2 is 6, 4 minus 4 is 0. Now, the number we're looking for is a number in our middle term, which is 10, which is right here. So we use 2 and 8. So A, 2, and 8. Now, our larger number that we're going to use, which is the 8, is always going to be the same size as the middle term. Middle term is negative, so this is a negative 8. Number I circled in the S column, S for same sign, so if the 8 is negative, then the 2 has to be negative. Step 2. Cancel if possible. Now, they have to be exactly the same for you to cancel. As I look at this, see how these both have a minus 2's? Those a minus 2's are going to cancel. And we're left with a minus 8 as our answer. Now, you can't cancel up here because everything has to be multiplication for you to cancel. See how this is a squared minus 10a? That's why I can't cancel any of these a's right here, because everything's addition and subtraction. But after I factored it, I got this times this. That's why I can cancel those a minus 2's. Let's look at another one. Okay. So we got w squared minus 5w minus 50 over w squared minus 2w minus 35. Now, step 1. We need to factor both of these. Well, we got w squared minus 5w minus 50. Let's try it again. W squared minus 5w minus 50. This is the PSD. Reason I know it's PSD is because we got w squared, w, no w, and there's no number in front of w squared. PSD, we take the number at the end, 50. We come up with our 3 columns. P column, product, we list all the products, give us 50. We got 1 times 50, 2 times 25, 3 no, 4 no, 5 times 10. We'll add them. The S column is sum. 1 plus 50 is 51. 2 plus 25 is 27. 5 plus 10 is 15. Difference column, we subtract them. 50 minus 1 is 49. 25 minus 2 is 23. 10 minus 5 is 5. Number we're looking for is a number in our middle term, which is 5, which is right here. So we're going to use 5 and 10. Now, our larger number that we're using, which is the 10, is always going to be the same size as the middle term, which was negative. Number we circled is in a difference column, D for different signs. So if the 10 is negative, the 5 will be positive. So the top part is w plus 5 times w minus 10. Now the bottom part, it's also PST. So we've got w squared minus 2w minus 35. Reason why it's PST is because we got w squared, w, no w, and there's no number in front of your w squared. Take the number at the end, which is 35. Come up with our three columns. We got 1 times 35, 2 no, 3 no, 5 times 7, I guess is the next one. Skip down to it. Sum column, we add them. 1 plus 35 is 36. 5 plus 7 is 12. Difference column, we subtract them. 35 minus 1 is 34. 7 minus 5 is 2. Number we're looking for is a number in our middle term, which is a 2. So we're going to use 5 and 7. Larger number that we're using, which is a 7, is always going to be the same size as the middle term, which was negative. The number I circled in a difference column, D for different signs. So if the 7 is negative, then the 5 will be positive. So the bottom part factors as w plus 5 times w minus 7. And that was step 1. Now step 2, cancel if possible. Well, I notice w plus 5s are the same, so I can cancel those. And I'm left with w minus 10 over w minus 7. Now I can't cancel the w's because it has to be multiplication. This is w minus 10. So this is just our answer right here. Let me grab another drink here. And let's look at the next problem. In class, I don't usually show these steps. I assume at this point people know how to factor, so I'll just write down the method. But I figured I might as well in this video. So if you don't need to see the steps, you could grab the little slider and move it forward to skip over them. Okay, same steps. We want to factor the top, factor the bottom. The top part's in the wrong order. It's not in standard form. And the bottom part will be the PST method. Because we've got a k squared, k, no k, and there's no number in front of the k squared. Well, the PST, we take the number at the end, 24, ignore signs, and come up with our three columns. All the products give us 24. We got 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 4 times 6. In the S column, we add them together. 1 plus 24 is 25, 2 plus 12 is 14, 3 plus 8 is 11, 4 plus 6 is 10. Difference column, we subtract them. 24 minus 1 is 23, 12 minus 2 is 10, 8 minus 3 is 5, and 6 minus 4 is 2. Now the number we're looking for is a number in our middle term, which is 11, which is right here, so we're going to use 3 and 8. Now let me go ahead and rewrite that top part. So that's negative k squared plus 9, putting it in standard form, largest power down to smallest. Then this will be k, and we got 3 and 8. Now the larger number we're going to use, which is the 8, is going to always be the same sign as the middle term, which is positive. The number we circled is in the S column, S for same sign, so if this one's positive, then this one has to be positive. And the bottom part's factored. Now the top part is GCF. Because I notice my first term is negative, so I'll factor out negative 1, and that gives us k squared minus 9. Well, now up on top, if I look at what's inside the parentheses, I got two terms and minusing it. We try to difference two squares. So it's k squared minus 9. We try to write it as something squared minus something else squared. And you ask yourself for each piece, what times itself gives you that? For example, k times k gives you k squared, and for 9 you got 3 times 3. Now, difference of two squares says you take what's in your first set of parentheses, you add what's in your last, and you take what's inside your first and you subtract what's in your last. So the top part factors as negative 1 times k plus 3 times k minus 3 over k plus 3 times k plus 8. Okay, step 2, cancel if possible. Well, I notice that they both have a k plus 3, so those can cancel. Excuse me, and I'm left with negative 1 times k minus 3 over k plus 8. And that's our answer. Now, different books will do this different ways. You can put the negative out in front, so you have k minus 3 over k plus 8 with the negative here. Some books may actually multiply the k through at this point. So you could have negative k plus 3 over k plus 8. Or you could even have some books that rewrite that as 3 minus k over k plus 8. There's no way to really say what your particular textbook's going to do in that regard. All those are technically correct. Let's take a look at this one. Do I have room? I probably do. I got v to the third minus 7v squared minus 3v plus 21 over v squared minus 14v plus 49. And same instructions, I want to simplify it. Well, the top part is grouping, because I got 4 more terms. And the bottom part is the PST method. The reason why is because we have v squared, v, no v, and there's no number in front of your v squared. Let's look at the top part first. V to the third minus 7v squared minus 3v plus 21. 4 more terms. You try to factor by grouping. So group the first 2 together, group the last 2 together. First 2 terms have a v squared in common, and that leaves me v minus 7. Second group doesn't have anything common, or it both divided by 3, sorry. And the first term is negative, so I'll factor out negative 3. That gives me v minus 7. Now they both have a v minus 7, so I'll factor that out in front, and that leaves us v squared minus 3. So that's my top part. So v minus 7 times v squared minus 3. Now bottom part, PST. We're going to take the number at the end, the 49. We'd ignore signs. If it was a negative 49, we'd still just look at 49. And we write down all products, give us 49. We got 1 times 49, 2, no, 3, I think 7 times 7 is the next one. The S column, we add those together. 1 plus 49 is 50, 7 plus 7 is 14. Difference column, we subtract them. 49 minus 1 is 48, 7 minus 7 is 0. Number we're going to look for is a number in our middle term, which is 14, which is right here, so we're going to use 7 and 7. Now our larger number, which are both 7, so there is no larger one, you can choose either one. But our larger number, which is 7, is always going to be the same sign as the middle term, which is negative. Now the number I circled is in the S column, S for same sign, so if this one's negative, the other one has to be negative. Step 2, cancel if possible. Well, they both have a v minus 7, so those are going to cancel. And we're left with v squared minus 3 over v minus 7. And that's our answer. That doesn't factor down any further. The top part looks like difference 2 squares, 2 terms of minusing it. V times v gives you v squared, but nothing times self gives you 3. So that's where we stop. And let's take a look at our next problem. This is multiplying. So we've got 3x to the 7th over x plus 8 times x squared plus 12x plus 32 over 12x squared. And this is multiplying rational expressions. First step, factor everything. So factor all of your numerators, factor all of your denominators. Well, the 3x to the 7th can't do anything with. X plus 8 can't do anything with. 12x squared can't do anything with. But this one is the PSD method. So we'll take number at the end, the 32, and we'll come up with our 3 columns. The P column will write all the products give us 32. We got 1 times 32, 2 times 16, 3 no, 4 times 8, 5 no, 6 no, 7 no. S column, add them together. 1 plus 32 is 33, 2 plus 16 is 18, 4 plus 8 is 12. Difference column, subtract them. 32 minus 1 is 31, 16 minus 2 is 14, 8 minus 4 is 4. Number we're looking for is a number in our middle term, which is 12. So we're going to use 4 and 8. So I got 3x to the 7th over x plus 8 times x, 4 and 8 over 12x squared. Now our larger number that we're going to use, which is the 8, will always be the same sign as the middle term, which is positive. Now the number of circles in the S column, S for same sign, so if this one's positive, the other one has to be positive. And that's as much as we can factor it. Step 2, cancel, if possible. And really the only guideline is 1 is on top, 1 is in the numerator, and 1 is on the bottom. The denominator. And they are the same. Now we're going to handle numbers in x to a power just like we did before. But only guideline is 1's on top and 1's on the bottom. They don't have to be in the same fraction. They can be, but don't have to be. And they're the same. Well, as I look at this, I have an x plus 8 here and x plus 8 here. Those are going to cancel. Again, 1's on top, 1's on the bottom. And everything's written as a product. You notice that. We got this times this. You can't do it if you got addition and subtraction. That's why you can't cancel up here. Can't cancel the x squareds because this is plus. So we're left with 3x to the 7th over 1 times x plus 4 over 12x squared. Remember how I said we do numbers just like we did before. Here we have a 3 and here we got a 12. Those are both divisible by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. And we're left with x to the 7th over 1 times x plus 4 over x squared. Now remember how we handled x's before. If you got x to a power over x to a power, they don't have to be in the same fraction. You subtract a smaller exponent from the larger one. Well, 7 minus 2 gives us 5, and we have x to the 5th where the larger exponent was, which was up on top. So that's x to the 5th, and then this one disappears. Let me say that again. If you have x to a power over x to a power, you subtract a smaller exponent from the larger one. 7 minus 2 gives you 5, and you have x to that power where your larger exponent was, which was up on top. Now there's nothing else left to cancel here. So our third step is to multiply the tops and multiply the bottoms. Now that's a little bit misleading though. Usually all we'll do is put them next to each other. So here I'm going to have x to the 5th and I'll put it next to the x plus 4. Now the 1 times 1 disappears. Notice I don't actually multiply them together. This is the form you'll see that they'll leave it in most intermediate algebra books. And that's our answer. Okay, let's look at our next problem. And let me start a new page just in case. Number 9. We've got 5x squared plus 8x minus 21 over x squared minus 6x minus 27 times x squared plus 4x minus 32 over 5x squared minus 27x plus 28. Now it says multiply and simplify. Well, that's assumed. Whenever you got a rational expression, they shouldn't have put simplify. It should just say multiply, because whenever you can simplify, you should. It doesn't matter whether it says it or not. Let me grab a drink. Now, first step: factor everything. This is key number. This one's PSD. This one's PSD, and this one's key number. Key number because it's x squared x, no x, but there's a number in front of your x squared. And PSD because it's x squared x, no x, and there's no number in front of your x squared. Okay, let's look at the first one here. 5x squared plus 8x minus 21. The key number, we take the number at the beginning times the number at the end. So we take 5 times 21, ignore signs, and that gives us 105. And we'll come up to our 3 columns. We got 1 times 105, 2 no, 3 times 35, 4 no, 5 times 21, 6 no, 7 times 15, and that's actually it right there, but 8 no, 9 no, 10 no. Okay, so we add them. S column, 1 plus 105 is 106, 3 plus 35 is 38, 5 plus 21 is 26, 7 plus 15 is 22. Boy, that's bad. 105 minus 1 is 104. Thinking about midday nap. 35 minus 3 is 32. 21 minus 5 is 16. 15 minus 7 gives us 8. Number we're looking for is a number in our middle term, which is 8, which is right here. So we're going to use 7 and 15. Remember, with the key number, we rewrite our middle term using those two numbers. Our larger number that we're using in the P column, which is 15, is always going to be the same sign as the middle term. So I got plus 15x. Number has circles in a difference column, D for different signs. So if the 15 is positive, then the 7 will be negative. Factor by grouping. These have a 5x in common. That gives me x plus 3. These have a negative 7, and that gives me x plus 3. So they both have an x plus 3, and that leaves us 5x minus 7. So this factors as x plus 3 times 5x minus 7. Okay, let's look at the denominator now. So we got x squared minus 6x minus 27. This is PSD, so we'll take our number at the end at 27, and we'll come up with our, ignore the sign, and we'll come up with our 3 columns. Product column, all product give us 27. We got 1 times 27, 3 times 9. Guess that's it. Add them. 1 plus 27 is 28. 3 plus 9 is 12. Subtract them. 27 minus 1 is 26. 9 minus 3 is 6. Number we're looking for is a number in our middle term, which is a 6. Which means we're going to use 3 and 9. Now our larger number in the P column, which is a 9, is always going to be the same sign as the middle term, which was negative. Now the number I circled is in a difference column, D for different signs. So if the 9 is negative, then the 3 has to be positive. So this one factors as x plus 3 times x minus 9. Okay, let's do the top of the second fraction, the numerator. So we got x squared plus 4x minus 32. And we want to use the PSD method. So we'll take number at the end, which is the 32, come up with our three columns. All products give us 32. We got 1 times 32, 2 times 16, 4 times 8. Add them. 1 plus 32 is 33. 2 plus 16 is 18. 4 plus 8 is 12. Subtract them. 32 smaller from larger. 32 minus 1 is 31. 16 minus 2 is 14. 8 minus 4 is 4. Number we're looking for is a number in a middle term, which is the 4. So we're going to use 4 and 8. Our larger number that we're using in the P column, which is the 8, will always be the same sign as the middle term, which is positive. Number our circles in a difference column, D for different signs. So if the 8 is positive, then the 4 is negative. So this factors as x minus 4 times x plus 8. And then our last one, what was it? 5x squared minus 27x plus 28. We said key number, so we'll take our number at the beginning times the number at the end. So I got 5 times 28, 0, 4, 10, 140. Write down all of the products give us 140. We got 1 times 140, 2 times 70, 3, no, 4 times something. Let's see, 12, 25. Yeah. 5 times something. 28. 6, no, 7 times 20. Now there's a 27 right there. So that's probably it, but let me see. 8, no. 9, no. 10 times 14. 11, I don't think so. 12, no. 13, okay. So add them. 1 plus 140 is 141. 2 plus 70 is 72. 4 plus 35 is 39. 33, 27, 24. Subtract them. Smaller from larger. 140 minus 1 is 139. 68, 31, 23, 13, and 4. Number we're looking for is a number in our middle term, which is 27, which is right here. So we use 7 and 20. And remember, we rewrite our middle term using those two numbers. Our larger number in the P column that we're going to use, which is the 20, is always going to be the same sign as the middle term, which is negative. The number we circled in the S column, S for same sign, so if 20 is negative, then the 7 will be negative. Then use factoring by grouping. These have a 5x in common, and that gives me x minus 4. These have a negative 7, and that gives me an x minus 4. So they both have an x minus 4, so I factor that out, and that gives us x minus 4 times 5x minus 7. X minus 4, 5x minus 7. That's actually the hard part of factoring. If you're good at factoring, these will be piece of cake for you. Step 2, cancel if possible. Again, the only guideline is one's on top, one's on the bottom, and they're the same. And everything's multiplication, of course. Here's an x plus 3, here's an x plus 3. They can be in the same fraction. There's nothing wrong with that. Here's a 5x minus 7, here's a 5x minus 7. Or they can be in different fractions. Again, the only guideline is one's on top, one's on the bottom, and they're the same. And here's an x minus 4, and here's an x minus 4. So those cancel. And actually what we're left with then is x plus 8 over x minus 9. Really no need to do step 3 because everything's pretty well canceled away except for those. Can't cancel the x's now because of the plus and the minus. It has to be multiplication. This would have to be x times 8, and this would have to be x times 9 for you to cancel the x's. Okay, let's look at our next one. Let me grab a drink here. Start a new page too. Okay, so we got 2y squared minus 13y plus 15 over 4y squared minus 8y plus 3 times 6y squared plus y minus 2 over 5 minus y. Step 1 is going to be to factor everything. Well, the 2y squared minus 13y plus 15 is key number. 6y squared plus y minus 2 is key number. 4y squared minus 8y plus 3 is key number. 5 minus y is wrong order. So let's look at the 2y squared minus 13y plus 15. Again, with the key number, we take the number at the beginning times the number at the end, ignoring signs. So 2 times 15 is 30. And we got 1 times 30, 2 times 15, 3 times 10, 5 times 6. Add them together. 1 plus 30 is 31. 2 plus 15 is 17. 3 plus 10 is 13. 5 plus 6 is 11. Difference column, subtract them. 30 minus 1 is 29. 15 minus 2 is 13. 10 minus 3 is 7. 6 minus 5 is 1. Number we're looking for is a number in our middle term, which is 13. And we got two 13s, but the one we're going to use is the one in the S column. And the reason I know that is because my last term is a positive. The only way you can get a positive there is when they're the same signs. If it was a negative, then I'd use the other one. Now again, with the key number, we rewrite in our middle term using those two numbers. Our larger number that we're going to use, which is the 10, is always going to be the same sign as the middle term. So we'll have negative 10y. Number has circles in the S column. S for same sign, so the 10's negative, the 3 will be negative. Factor by grouping. First two terms have a 2y in common, and that gives us y minus 5. Second group has a negative 3 in common, and that gives us y minus 5. So now we have y minus 5 times 2y minus 3. So this becomes y minus 5 and 2y minus 3. Wrong order, I'll go ahead and rearrange that. That's negative y plus 5. And let's look at the denominator of the first fraction. So we got 4y squared minus 8y plus 3. Key number. We take number at the beginning times number at the end, ignoring signs. So we got 4 times 3. It's a little bit painful to write all these steps out. In class, I always just factor it. It's a lot simpler, or a lot less writing. Write down all products give us 12. 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. The S column, we add this together. 1 plus 12 is 13. 2 plus 6 is 8. 3 plus 4 is 7. Difference column, we subtract them. 12 minus 1 is 11. 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. Number we're looking for is a number in our middle term, which is 8, which is right there, so we use 2 and 6. And again, we rewrite our middle term using those two numbers. Larger number that we're going to use, which is a 6, will always be the same sign as the middle term, which is negative. So we've got negative 6y. Number we circled in the S column, S for same sign, so if 6 is negative, then the 2 will be negative. Factor by grouping. First group has a 2y in common, and that gives us 2y minus 3. Go away, Avast. Second group has nothing in common, but my first term is negative, so I factor out negative 1, and that gives us 2y minus 3. Well, now they both have a 2y minus 3, and again, you can cross those out to see what goes in your second set of parentheses. So we got 2y minus 1. So which one was that? That was this one. So this is 2y minus 3 times 2y minus 1. Let's look at the 6y squared plus y minus 2. Again, we said key number. So take the number at the beginning times the number at the end. Take 6 times 2, which gives us 12. We already got 12 here, but I'll rewrite it. 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. S column, add them together. 1 plus 12 is 13. 2 plus 6 is 8. 3 plus 4 is 7. Difference column, subtract them. 12 minus 1 is 11. 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. Number we're looking for is a number in our middle term, which is the invisible 1, which is right here. So we use 3 and 4. And again, we rewrite our middle term using those two numbers. Larger number, which is the 4, is going to be same sign as the middle term, which is positive. The number has circles in a difference column, D for different signs. So if the 4 is positive, then the 3 will be negative. Factor by grouping. First group has a 2y in common, and that gives us 3y plus 2. Second group doesn't have anything in common, but my first term is negative, so I factor out a negative 1, and that gives us 3y plus 2. Well, now they both have a 3y plus 2, so I factor that out, and that leaves us 2y minus 1. So I got 3y plus 2 and 2y minus 1. Okay, now back to this. We got a GCF right here. So this carries down. We got y minus 5, 2y minus 3, and I could start canceling these if I wanted to, but that wouldn't follow my steps. So I'm going to go ahead and factor everything first. Okay. These don't have anything in common, but my first term is negative, so I factor out a negative 1. And that gives us y minus 5. Okay, step 2, cancel if possible. Only guideline is one's on top, one's on the bottom, and they're the same. Well, here we have a y minus 5. Here we have a y minus 5. Here we have a 2y minus 1. Here we have a 2y minus 1. Here we have a 2y minus 3. Here we have a 2y minus 3. Excuse me. So we're left with 3y plus 2 over negative 1. Now we can split this up. Put the 3y over negative 1 and 2 over negative 1. And we end up with negative 3y minus 2. And that's our answer. There's no need to do step 3 because there's really nothing left after we do all our canceling. One more of those, then we'll look at division. We got p squared minus 9p plus 14 over p squared minus 12p plus 35 times p minus 5. Well, first off, before I do anything, remember when we were multiplying fractions together before when we had just simple numbers? If you're going to multiply fractions, they both should be fractions. So I want to put the p minus 5 over 1. There we go. Now step 1. Factor everything. Well, this is the PSD here. And this is the PSD. The reason why is because these are p squared, p, no p, and there's no number in front of the p squared. So let's look at the p squared minus 9p plus 14 first. Take our number at the end, which is 14. Ignore sign. If it was a negative 14, we'd still look at 14. Write down our 3 columns. We got 1 times 14, 2 times 7. S column, add them together, sum them. S for sum. 1 plus 14 is 15. 2 plus 7 is 9. Difference column, subtract them, smaller from larger. 14 minus 1 is 13, 7 minus 2 is 5. Number we're looking for is a number in our middle term, which is 9. So we're going to use 2 and 7. Our larger number that we're using, which is the 7, will always be the same sign as the middle term, which is negative. Number has circles in the S column, S for same sign, so if the 7 is negative, then the 2 is negative. So this becomes p minus 2 times p minus 7 over and let's look at the other one. So we've got p squared minus 12p plus 35. Again, we take the number at the end to 35 and we come up with our three columns. All the products give us 35 is 1 times 35, 5 times 7. Add them. 1 plus 35 is 36. 5 plus 7 is 12. Subtract them. Smaller from larger. 35 minus 1 is 34. 7 minus 5 is 2. Number we're looking for is a number in our middle term, which is 12. So we're going to use 5 and 7. Now our larger number in the p column, which is a 7, is always going to be the same sign as the middle term, which is negative. Number I circled in the s column, s for same sign, so if the 7 is negative, the 5 is negative. So this becomes p minus 5 times p minus 7. Step 2, cancel if possible. Only guideline is one's on top, one's on the bottom. Here's p minus 5, here's a p minus 5. Here's a p minus 7, here's a p minus 7. And actually, the 1 disappears, and the only thing we have left is p minus 2. So that's our answer. And time for division. So let's take a look at this one. Let's start a new page. And really, there's nothing to show on division here. We got x squared minus 14x plus 48 over 2x squared minus 7x plus 5. All of that over x squared minus 64 over x squared plus 7x minus 8. Now, just like when we're doing everything else, rational expression again means single fraction. So we got a single fraction here, rational expression divided by a single fraction. This this symbol right here again means divide. If we keep that in mind, we can rewrite this as x squared minus 14x plus 48 over 2x squared minus 7x plus 5 divided by x squared minus 64 over x squared plus 7x minus 8, which is what we're a little bit more accustomed to seeing. Well, remember before, when we were multiplying or dividing simple fractions, we never divided, we immediately rewrote it as multiplication. And that's what we're going to do here. So we got x squared minus 14x plus 48 over 2x squared minus 7x plus 5 times x squared plus 7x minus 8 over x squared minus 64. Now remember how we rewrote multiplication. Of course your division symbol became multiplication, but then you flipped your fraction that followed the division sign. Took a reciprocal of it. And now it's just a simple multiplication. Well, it's multiplication, so we just do what we did before. This here is PSD, because we have x squared x, no number in front of the x squared. This is PSD, same reason. This is key number. Key number, because we got x squared x, no x, and there's a number in front of our x squared. And this is dots. Difference two squares. Two terms of minusing it. Okay. Let's first look at x squared minus 14x plus 48. PSD, take our number at the end, 48, come up with our three columns. We got 1 times 48, 2 times 24, 3 times 16, 4 times 12, 6 times 8. Add them together. 1 plus 48 is 49, 2 plus 24 is 26, 3 plus 16 is 19, 4 plus 12 is 16, 6 plus 8 is 14. Subtract them. 48 minus 1 is 47, 22, 13, 8, 2. Number we're looking for is a number in the middle term, which is 14. which is right here, so we use 6 and 8. Now our larger number in the p column that we're using, which is the 8, will always be the same sign as the middle term, which is negative. Number I circled in the s column, s for same sign, so if the 8 is negative, then the 6 is negative. So this is step 1. This becomes x minus 6 times x minus 8. And let's take a look at the 2x squared minus 7x plus 5. Again, this is key number, so we take the number at the beginning times the number at the end. So 2 times 5, ignoring signs, which gives us 10. Come up with our columns again. We got 1 times 10, 2 times 5. Add them. 1 plus 10 is 11. 2 plus 5 is 7. Subtract them. Smaller from larger. 10 minus 1 is 9. 5 minus 2 is 3. Number we're looking for is a number in our middle term, which is 7. So we're going to use 2 and 5. And again, what we do is we rewrite our middle term using those two numbers. Our larger number, which is a 5, will be the same sign as the middle term, which was negative. Number I circled in the s column, s for same sign, so if the 5 is negative, then the 2 will be negative. Factor by grouping. First group has an x in common and gives me 2x minus 5. Second group has nothing in common, but first term is negative, so I factor out negative 1, and that gives us 2x minus 5. So it gives us 2x minus 5 times x minus 1. Okay, so let's look at our next one. We've got x squared plus 7x minus 8. PST. Take a number at the end, ignoring signs. So we got 8. And come up with our 3 columns. We got 1 times 8, 2 times 4. Add them, subtract them. Number we're looking for is 7, which is right here. So we're going to use 1 and 8. Larger number, which is the 8, will be the same sign as the middle term, which is positive. Number I circled in a difference column, D for different sign. So if the 8 is positive, then the 1 is negative. So this becomes x minus 1 times x plus 8. And the last one, what is it? X squared minus 64. Difference 2 squares. We try to write it as something squared minus something else squared. You ask yourself what times itself gives you that. X times x gives you x squared, and 8 times 8 gives you 64. Difference 2 squares, we take what's inside our first set of parentheses, we add what's in our last, and we take what's inside our first, and we subtract what's in our last. So factors is x plus 8, x minus 8. Okay, step 2, cancel if possible. The only guideline is one's on top, one's on the bottom. Here's an x minus 8, and here's an x minus 8. Here's an x plus 8, here's an x plus 8. And here's an x minus 1, here's an x minus 1. So we're left with x minus 6 over 2x minus 5. Nothing, you don't have to do step 3 because after we cancel, about everything disappears except for just those right there. So that's our answer. And I believe that was the last problem. I don't show a whole lot of division because you can see they're the same as multiplication. We just rewrite it as that. Let me go ahead and save this.